Have you ever heard the word function in math class and your brain just kind of shuts down? Well, get ready for a surprise. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on what a function really is, and I promise you, it's something you already use every single day.
Oh, yeah, that's not an exaggeration. Functions are hiding in plain sight and stuff you do all the time without even thinking about it. Stick with me for just a few minutes, and you're going to start seeing them absolutely everywhere.
All right, let's kick things off with a simple trip to a shop to buy a mobile card. Now, I know what you're thinking. What does this have to do with math? Well, trust me, this everyday transaction holds the key to unlocking this whole idea. So just picture it. You walk up to the counter, you hand over 15 burr. What do you expect to get back? You expect to get one thing, and one thing only, a 15 burr mobile card. The shopkeeper isn't going to suddenly hand you both a 15 burr card and a 25 burr card for that single payment, right? Of course not. It's a simple, predictable, one-for-one deal. And that reliability, that's the crucial part. And believe it or not, that's it. That's the big secret. This simple idea of a predictable, no-surprises relationship is the absolute heart of what we call a function in math. See? You know it all along. Okay, so now that we've got the real-world idea down, let's see how this builds into the official mathematical rule. We're really just going to put some fancy words on a concept you already totally get. And here it is. A function is basically just a special kind of rule. And the most important part of that rule, the part you can never, ever forget, is highlighted right there. Every single input has to be paired with exactly one output. Not 0 outputs, not 2, not 100, just 1. That is the whole game, right there. This slide just lays it out perfectly, doesn't it? Over on the left, you've got a proper function. One payment gets you one card. It's clean, it's predictable. But on the right, it's total chaos. One payment gets you two different things? That breaks our number one rule, so it is not a function. It's really that black and white. Now that we've nailed the main rule, let's learn some of the lingo. There are just a few key terms for the different pieces of a function. And don't worry, we're going to connect every single one of them right back to our friendly mobile card shop. First up, we've got the domain. The easiest way to think about this is that it's your menu of options. It's the complete set of all the possible inputs you can even start with. So in our shop example, the domain is the list of all the payment amounts the shop accepts. 15 beer, 25 beer, 50 beer, you get the idea. Okay, next up is the codomain. Now, if the domain is everything you can put in, the codomain is the entire universe of things you could possibly get out. It's the shop's entire stockroom. Every single type of card they have on the shelf, whether you end up buying it or not. And that brings us to the range, which is a bit more specific. The range isn't the whole inventory, it's only the outputs that actually get paired with an input. So let's say the shop stocks a 100 burr card, but on this particular day, nobody buys one. That 100 burr card is still in the codomain, but it is not in the range of that day's sales. The range is only what actually comes out of the machine, so to speak. And finally, a couple of quick nicknames you might hear. For any specific pair, the input, so your payment, is called the pre-image, and the output, the card you get in return, that's called the image. So you could say the image of your 15 beer is a 15 beer card. Simple as that. Okay, so functions don't just hang out in shops, right? They show up in all sorts of different outfits, sometimes as a list or an equation or even a picture. So let's talk about how to spot one in the wild. So you might see a function written out as a set of ordered pairs, or as a classic math equation like y equals 2x. Sometimes you'll see a mapping diagram, with arrows pointing from an input to its output. But honestly, one of the most common ways you're going to see a function is as a line or a curve drawn on a graph. But that brings up a pretty good question, right? If you're just looking at some random squiggly line on a chart, how in the world do you know if it's playing by the function rule? Well, lucky for us, there is a super simple visual trick for exactly that. It's called the vertical line test, and it is absolutely foolproof. Just imagine taking a perfectly vertical line, like a ruler held straight up and down, and just sliding it from left to right across the graph. If that ruler ever touches the curve in more than one place at the exact same moment, boom, it fails. It is not a function. So we've gone through examples, definitions, we've even looked at graphs. But you know what? It all comes back to one simple, powerful idea. This is the big takeaway. So if you remember one thing from all of this, let it be this. The entire idea of a function, the whole thing, boils down to this one rule. No input can have more than one output. That's it. Whether we're talking about a shop, an equation, or a graph, the test is always the same. Does each input give you one and only one result? If the answer is yes, you've got yourself a function. It's what gives math its incredible reliability.
Seriously, just think about it for a second. When you press the power button on your remote, you expect one result. The TV turns on. When a cashier scans a barcode, you expect one price to pop up. This rule is everywhere, creating these predictable systems that we rely on every single day. So the real question is, what other functions are you using in your life without even realizing it?